Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 2 of our F223 Ollie Bearman career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend once more here at the Bahrain International Circuit for the feature race. If you missed out on the video that went live yesterday where we jumped in, obviously set up the series and did all of the sort of early campaign stuff, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. The sprint race yesterday was actually quite interesting as well. We kind of learned a lot about the new cars here inside F123. But of course, if you're new around here and you haven't already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed to the channel as well. But let's get into it though. 16 more laps here from Sakhir.
Hello and welcome from the Bahrain International Circuit here in Sakhir. Down on the grid, the engineers are making their last checks, and today's race will be underway shortly. Plenty of opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit for these young F2 drivers to show what they can do. The best passing opportunity right up there at turn 1, and we should see plenty of action there. But there's another not long after at turn 4. There are 9 right-handers and 6 left-handers, and the possibility that we could see some flat spots at the tightest of those left-handers, that's turn 10. As we're now moments away from the off, let's take a look at the grid order in which they'll start today's race. A fantastic effort from Anne-Marie Cordial yesterday puts him on pole position. And it's Richard Verschoor in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Martins, Hauger, Jan Deruvala and Porcher, Hadjar, Vesti, Crawford, Clermont Novalak, Dewan, Benavides, Enzo Fittipaldi, Arthur Leclerc, Maloney, Correa, Boschon and Roy Nissany. Awasa, Miney, Stanek and Ollie Bearman completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Well, a little bit of a rough qualifying then on Friday night. Caesars, of course, starting from the rear of the field. Not sure why the game is recommending a 2-stop of all things, but, you know, it is what it is. And apparently I can't even change that either. For some reason. I wanted to start on the set of the hard compounded tyres, but apparently it isn't going to let me for whatever reason. Can I bring that back? No, apparently I can't do anything with it. So we're starting on the softs then, despite me not wanting to. It might mean that the AI gets slightly broken here, but the plan is going to be go softs over onto that set of the hard tyres. Of course, you only get 2 sets, 2 compounds of tyres in FIA Formula 2. But we're back on the grid then once again here in Sakhir. Hopefully we can try and get a good start. 5 red lights. It's the lights out and away we go. Yuma Wassa there really struggling to put the power down as we head down in towards that first corner. Nissany getting a bit caught up by Ralph Boschon. We're going to try and go to the inside rather aggressively actually in towards turn 1. They're careful not to run into the back of Clermont Novalak, but a little bit of wheel bang in there with Zane Maloney as we try and get all the way around the outside there as we make our way up the hill. But yeah, up 7 spots then off the start, so a really good little getaway here to the feature race. Of course, 16 laps, a mandatory pit stop this time around, so there is going to be an element of strategy involved in this race today then. But yeah, we need to try and go on a bit of a charge. Of course, we built up some confidence from that sprint race yesterday. These cars are a lot more slidey than we were expecting them to be as one of the Invicta Virtuosi cars. Oh, just there on my outside there. That's Jack Dewan. Yeah, we just almost, well, we were desperate to try and avoid the contact with the young Australian, hence why we had that huge moment of oversteer on the exit, but we did get past Clermont Novalak in all of that. So we're up to P14 then off the start of this race. So that's been really clean and tidy actually, much better than I was expecting. Of course, you know, there is always the opportunity with these Mecha Chrome power units for things to go wrong as well, though. You know, you can still get engine failures and things like that. Seems a little bit harsh in a spec series, I know, but for anyone that's sort of deep on the F2 lore, you'll know just how maybe not so perfectly even things are in this series. But as we make our way down in towards the final corner, who is leading the race at the front of the field then? I want to say it is, yeah, Richard Verschoor there at the front. So Richard, obviously the young Dutch driver, having a very good start to this race. We're going to be under pressure again from Clermont back down in towards turn 1. I think just about got the straight line speed. We've actually been very, very late on the brakes there. I have to slide it down the inside of Jack doing there, and that was actually never my intention in towards turn 1, as we again get wheel spin off the exit the corner there. We're going to be almost banging wheels as we make our way back in towards turn 4. But yeah, clearly the AI brake very, very early down at turn 1. They don't seem to struggle around most of the lap, but we'll say thank you very much. And we'll be up to unlucky P13 here. Can we score points from the back of the grid? DRS enabled then as we start lap 3. But yeah, definitely having a bit more fun on this set of the soft compound tyres there, as we actually went purple through the final sector. I don't quite know whether, you know, the undercut, of course we've seen how powerful that is with the F1 cars inside this game. I don't know if that's going to be the same story with the F2 cars here, because often they do take a bit more time to try and get up to temperature still. But of course, you know, it is going to get put to the test at some point very early on this season. Arthur Leclerc there just outside the points trying to defend from Enzo Fittipaldi. Will we be able to get much closer? Just lost the DRS to Fittipaldi in front of me. So Jack doing again. Whoa, trying to apply some pressure down in towards turn 1 there. There's a nice lock up of the rears once more. Very, very common occurrence so far, safe to say, in this series. But yeah, I know I've got the pace to get this thing hooked up and actually be quite quick here. It is just still working out exactly. It feels, you know, these cars are very much on a knife edge, it feels like, on this game when you're trying to extract the pace out of them. You've either got the grip, you've got the power down, or they're just going to wheel spin on you. And of course, you've got to be very, very gentle as well with the steering. I'd say even more than when you're driving the Formula 1 cars inside this game. You know, it's been the same with the Formula 2 cars for a couple of years, but you can't really hustle them round like with an F1 car. You've got to be really, really precise, you know, with all of your inputs there. But yeah, don't think it's going to be long before we're trying to eye up a move on Enzo Fittipaldi. Maybe if we get a nice run through Sector 3, it can be down in towards Turn 1. Out of the final corner then, back down towards the start-finish line. Novelak and Doohan actually having a bit of a battle behind me. Okay, clearly Mark feels we've got the pace over these guys. Let's wait and see if we do. Mark is trying to tell me everything at the moment there as Arthur Leclerc. Just a small lock-up in towards that first corner. We've got yellow flags out. Don't know who that is potentially running slowly. I believe it's a car behind us, though, unfortunately. It's Richard Verschoor's teammate. And that is, yep, Roy Nassani. Oh, no. Anyway, we've still got to try and find a way past Enzo Fittipaldi here. As, yeah, the PHM car. Unfortunately, yeah, Roy, one of F2's most experienced drivers. Sadly, often in Formula 2, that isn't much of a compliment. Even closer to Fittipaldi this time round as we head back down in towards the first corner. There's definitely still lots of scraps going on a bit further up the road, but look at that down the inside. Oh, the Brazilian will go there. The car does meet the apex. It was certainly aggressive, but it was bold and it was beautiful. Up at a P12 we go then of this feature race. No contact was made either, but that was a proper sort of Formula 2 diving manoeuvre there that you've sometimes got to go for. And somehow, yeah, Brad Benavides inside the top 10. I want to know how that's happened. Oh, Arthur Leclerc very, very slow at the top of the hill. I think all of us start to struggle a bit on our soft compounded tyres. So unless Fred Vesti pits now, I'm actually going to dive it in at the end of this lap. Try and go for a tiny bit of an undercut on the AI here. Whether it'll work out or not is a very, very different question. So Arthur Leclerc, they're just trying to keep it tidy through the final corner and actually get a good run on Arthur Leclerc. Could have probably sent it back in towards turn 1. The other big thing you've got to remember in Formula 2, all of the pit lanes, I believe, are 37 miles an hour. And the pit stops are a lot slower than they are in Formula 1. So you can look at that, 4.5 seconds roughly is the time, which seems quicker actually than recent years. Definitely was not 4 seconds, but you know what, we'll get on with it. Oh, I'm so stupid. I've left them on the softs. Oh no, I forgot about the AI strategy bug thing. Well, now we've really got to hope that the AI have screwed themselves, because we're going to have to box for a set of hards at some point. And now we're on a 2-stop strategy here. Why did the game believe that was a viable strategy choice? Well, I guess this is moment of truth time then. Are we completely screwed in this race. Are the AI also bolting on a fresh set of the soft compound tyres? They might actually be. So maybe this is not over just yet then. Yeah, they're all on softs. And I assume you have got to go onto a set of the hard compound tyres at some point this afternoon. So everyone, yeah, for whatever reason, is going to be two-stopping here in Bahrain. So we might have actually got quite a decent little undercut here. Here's Brad Benavides back down in towards turn 1. And maybe we can just try and switch him off the corner there. He actually does a good job parking it on the apex. Which, to be honest, this year, Brad Benavides has basically only been known for doing a good job of bringing up the crash damage of Formula 2 and making something interesting on the highlight reel. Can we try and switch him up at turn 4 there? It looks like we can there as he jumps out of the way when he spots me in the mirror. So this might actually not be the end of the world. And we've got one car still that has opted to stay out here, and they might be therefore trying to do the one stop. Don't know whether any of the cars that are currently in the pit lane are thinking that way as well. I mean, it could end up being that everyone gets disqualified for whatever reason in this race. No, everyone has gone softs again. I have never seen something like this in FIA Formula 2, but it's going to massively boost us up the order then. So this undercut, despite the fact I botched it and we could have been in for an easy shot at victory, might not still be the end of the world there, as we're now up at a 6th place then of this feature race. There is still a chance to fight for some big points. Here we go, Richard Verschoor, new fastest lap of the day, so I don't think we got the pace to really match some of the top runners. Arjun Maini, though, he has one stopped. So has... I can't remember his team. I think it's not Campos, because they're not in the game anymore. I can't remember which team Maini's on, but he has gone bold and brave there. I know his teammates are Ralph Boschung. Can I remember what team it's called, though? No, not off the top of my head. But he might just have set himself up to win this thing. Well, I don't know what's happened on this second set of the tyres, but we are really struggling at the moment there. We've formed quite a big train behind me. As here comes Isaac Hadjar back down the inside in towards turn 1. You can see there, yep, now the AI actually able to go for diving manoeuvres on me in towards turn 1. The one place on the track we were ridiculously strong around earlier on in the race. We kind of just got to keep focusing, trying to keep as many of these cars at bay as we can. But of course, yeah, we are going to have to swap onto those hards at some point. I just don't know how much life they're going to have on them. If it's the scrub set from yesterday, they're going to basically be destroyed, and we'll want to do 1 or 2 laps on them tops. Here comes Hadjar again, though. Oh, he thinks about a move down the inside there. He actually tries to have a look to the outside as we get down the end of the back straight. But 4 more laps to go here from Sakia. You can just see how much the back end's shaking around. We haven't even taken these tyres as far as we did the first set there, but Isaac Hadjar will slip down the inside. We've got yellow flags out there. That, I think, is Ralph Boschung, who might be out then of the Grand Prix as we think about trying to get a run past Hadjar again down in towards the final couple of corners. We'll actually be quite cheeky and make sure we claim the DRS off of the high-tech GP car, of course. As we open up the DRS then once more as we head back down towards turn 1. Looks like Ralph Boschung has been able to keep that car going there, but wheel-to-wheel stuff between 2 of the Formula 3 rivals of 2022, but we're back through, and we hang on to P5 again there as Victor Martins, Gian Laruvala, and I think Teo Porcher all up the road having a massive scrap. No, it's Amory Cordeal all battling for P2 as Richard Verschoor looks to set sail to the sunset. Right, but I really don't want to get swamped in the pit lane. Of course, Prema have one of the earliest boxes of all of the teams, so we're going to dive in at the end of lap 13 then, and once again try to undercut as best as possible there. Tiny bit of front lock-in as we head into the pit lane as Fred Vesti out of the points at the moment. But yeah, onto a set then of the hard compounded tyres. Like I said, I don't know how much life they've got on them.
Okay, mate, that's it. Go.
Oh, they are completely destroyed. That's why everyone has not gambled on them. That must be Maine. He's really, really struggling on his set of the tyres as well. But we are about to get overcut by just about everybody here. So this has been an utter disaster of a feature race, sorry, here in Sakia. But obviously you have to use this compound. They just don't have any life on them. What is this? We can only hope that the AI's tyres are even more screwed than ours, but this is an utter nightmare. I would assume they've all got a box before the end of this lap, otherwise they'll have gone on to the last lap without changing. They might get away with it, but I mean, look at that. There's nothing on these tyres. They're destroyed. I mean, surely this places you in a scenario in the future where sometimes it's probably better to just not finish the sprint race if you've started on the hards, and then obviously have better tyres for the feature race, obviously where all the points are available. But we're going to get overcut, absolutely drastically here, as we're going to be out behind Fred Vesti, who of course isn't even in the points when he dived into the box there, around the outside of my teammate. Pretty much full opposite lock there, right the way through turn 1. There is Isaac Hadjar, so we haven't lost out horrendously to him, but yeah, I don't think we're even going to score points here, despite all the ups and downs today. Oh no! We've got a puncture! It's all over! It is all over here in Bahrain, and it has been a long time since I've had a puncture inside F123. What am I meant to do, Mark? The rear tyre's completely gone, so not only are the AI all going to be boxing at the end of this lap, I'm going to have to pit again here. I cannot believe how badly this has gone here in Bahrain. How has the FIA allowed this to happen, as we are just all over the show at the moment as we try and limp back round to the pit lane here? What an absolute disaster. I guess obviously we've learned for the future in this series that, well, if we're starting on the hards on sprint race Saturday, obviously we've got to then surely then we've got to just nurse the tyres as best as possible. Then none of the AI are going to get disqualified somehow. It looks like a Trident, I want to say, is now leading the way, but are they going to get DQ'd at the end of this lap there? Because of course they won't have bolted on a set of the soft compound tyres. Oh, and we got Correa trying to fly past me as well. Please say it's boxing me back onto a set of the softs. Yes, it is. I mean, look at that. Car's got nothing as we head back down to the start-finish line there. But, I mean, what a race of ups and downs. But this has been a nightmare here in Sakhir. We are going to be... I mean, we're back on a pretty used set of tyres anyway. How are you meant to do this? Like, if this is going to be the same every weekend, I know Bahrain is notoriously difficult on tyres, but how are you meant to do this if this is going to be the format all season long? Do you just always box with a lap to go? Hopefully, we'll get clarification as we move into Saudi, because it's not as a bad track for the tyres there, but I'm adamant that Trident's going to get disqualified in all of this. I don't know whether it's Clement Novalak or his teammate Roman Stanek there, but they're going to be heading down in towards the final corner. Trident are going to cross the finish line both races in P1, but surely, yeah, they're going to get DQ'd unless someone else manages to gamble on the hard compounded tyres up towards the line. Clement Novalak is going to win the feature race here, but surely he's going to get DQ'd. Surely, it's not telling me he's been DQ'd. Has Clement Novalak? Of course, yeah, he retired, didn't he, in the race yesterday, so he probably was able to go onto the hards, but obviously they had life in them. Has Clement Novalak just finessed this by having a failure in the sprint race? I believe he has. Clement Novalak, I think, is going to win this thing. Welcome to F2, ladies and gentlemen. It is utterly bonkers, but as we round our way towards the final couple of corners, in a race where we could have been on for a good points finish, we've certainly showcased that we've got the pace today. We're going to walk away with absolutely nothing in all of this and go for a spin, almost, down in towards the final couple of corners there. But such a stupid race here in Bahrain. I've never seen anything like it in FIA Formula 2. We had a puncture. Even these tyres are pretty much destroyed as well, so I wouldn't have fancied the chances of being able to do much more than this. But through the final corners, we're going to survive, in quotation marks, here in Sakhir, but Clement Novalak is a Grand Prix winner.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for Trident today. drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be Trident picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for coming out on top in that amazing race. And now, let's take a look at the driver's stand. Timo Novalak takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after that excellent result. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Lots of drivers impressed me today, Alex. But if I have to say one that impressed me most, it's Clement Novalak.
On to the teams then. ART moved to the top of the table. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment when Formula 2 returns.
Well, there we go then. Kushmani and Clement Novalak, because of their engine failures yesterday, able to make huge gains in the races today there. Clem, of course, had that mechanical failure from the lead, but in the end, it's ultimately allowed him to walk away from the opening weekend, I think, with the championship lead as well there. Richard Verschoor comes through for P2 ahead of Amaury Cordial there. Martins beats out both Indian drivers of Daruvula and Maney there, with Benavides, Hajar, Crawford and Taya Porcher rounding out our point scorers here from the Sakhir feature race. But yeah, look at that, a one stop against all these two stops, and unfortunately for me, it was in the end a three-stop strategy there. But it does mean, yep, championship-wise, Clement Novalak leads the way after the opening weekend of the season there. Richard Verschoor in P2 ahead of Cordial, Martins, Hajar, Daruvula, Porcher, Maney, Crawford, Benavides, Hauger and Enzo Fittipaldi, all with points on the board so far. And constructors-wise, yeah, Prema down in last place there. Only ourselves and Dams are unable to score points in the opening weekend there. Top four teams covered by just 7 points as well. So this is Formula 2 racing, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely wild. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. Like I said, from now on, this series is going to be going live on Saturdays and Sundays. So, of course, yeah, the US Grand Prix this weekend, I'm going to be trying to disperse this video, obviously this series, around the sessions for the US Grand Prix there. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be back then Saturday, ready for Saudi Arabia. You guys do not want to miss that. A massive thank you to all of my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for their continued donations to help my work. These things go much further than I think a lot of you ever realise, and allow me to continue making content full-time here on YouTube. So if you want to support me from as little as £1 a month and be featured on all of these end clips, either click the join button next to the subscribe or head over to my Patreon. There's a link down in the description.